Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive astrologer, and spiritual guide. And I'm here today, Tuesday, January 5th, with your weekly Pick an Angel spread reading. These readings are meant to allow you to use your intuition to guide you as to what advice and guidance and support that your spiritual team can give you on a weekly basis. Having said that, I have not been around for a couple of weeks. Mondays seem to be very challenging. I've had the electricity go out. I've had mice in the house and had to have maintenance people out. So I'm going to publish these on Tuesdays on a weekly basis. I think that might work out better. So just wanted to let you know that. And I also want to let you all know that if you're interested in getting a personal reading with me, I am available and do these via Skype or Zoom meetings. But I also have a new service, which is approximately a 20-minute reading, past life reading based on your natal chart, your astrological natal chart, looking at your node placement. The nodes are the nodes of the moon, and they represent points. The south node represents your past lives, represents what you're used to, and indicates what you've come into this incarnation to work on and to evolve as a soul. Your north node represents the direction you're wanting to go, the things you want to achieve and experience. So if you'd like to take advantage of that reading, as a result of listening to this video, I will be offering 20% off. So please feel free to email me. The information is below and I can give you the rates and we can talk more specifically about that. So that's my plug. And now let's get into the readings. I'm going to start with reading number 1. I have pulled a Kyle Gray card, which to me is sort of an overview of the reading. It is a common thread that is gonna take place over this week. And for those of you that picked angel reading number 1, it's the Stargazer. Set your sights higher. And if you look at the telescope, he has the astrological symbols on that. So to me, this very much indicates that not only is this about looking to achieve more than you think you can, or to look where you're dumbing yourself down and then stretch yourself. But also, I have to say that I think that this is also about looking to the stars, into your contract, into what your birth chart indicates and what your soul has agreed to work on or to evolve into in this lifetime, and what are the transits, what's happening in order to support that or to awaken you in some way. So let's see what the focus of this reading is for those of you that picked card reading number 1. In the foundational position is the King and Oceana. And the King represents male energy. It represents authority. It also represents things pertaining to the law, to justice, to fairness. It's kind of what I think of as a Libra energy because it's diplomatic. It is not emotional in its viewpoint. And yet at the same time, Oceana is asking you to take action based on your instincts, based on a deeper truth within your heart, and to lovingly assert yourself. And I think that this is really a time this week to start to think about what dynamics do I want to perpetrate? What do I want to create in 2021? What will make me feel more purposeful, more dynamic, more vital within my own life? Within the opportunity or the obstacle, we have Chantal, the angel of romance, and we have the forgiveness card. So I think much of this is going to have to do with how you have perceived your love life, where you have given yourself permissions to be more, I don't want to use the word hopeful. That's not correct. I feel like it's more about revisiting what you have what has been your loop, your pattern, your history, your story in love? Because that's where the reconciliation comes in. And I use the card, the forgiveness card, as reconciliation, not that I'm going to reconcile like with another person, but to reconcile a negative, challenging, maybe even hurtful experience, to see how it has actually made sense for me to be more vital and feel better within the experience I'm moving forward in, because it is now a time to have trust and faith in a childlike dynamic about your love life, regardless of whether you've been married for 35 years or you're still inviting in a relationship that is your ride or die. Because in the final position is Archangel Raphael, the angel of healing, and there's the cow. This is about nourishment, asking and receiving, and abundance. And this is a time when I believe that people are really very much, the isolation that was experienced in 2020 has led many people to want to be more intentional about their partnership and about walking through life either with the right person or inviting that relationship in, balancing it in some way. So as you take action based on what you want, and some of you may find yourself ending relationships, and this is literally, a time to start to seek legal counsel. But at the same time, I think that there is a childlike innocence and a certain amount of willingness to trust a bigger process, and to also see how in some ways you may have been also contributing to the situation by not thinking things can shift. The romance card, Chantal, doesn't just talk about new romance, but the resurgence of a current romance. So start thinking in abundant ways. As you speak to your guides and your angels this week, thank them for giving you the eyes, the heart, the ears, and the voice to speak through love and of love in a way that is very vital, hopeful, and renewed. And then see how that starts to change your experience. Again, I get these interesting hits intuitively, because oftentimes there's disruption that leads to the change. So in the beginning or the end of 2019, I was seeing a lot of homeschooling. I was seeing a lot of people working from home, and I felt like this was a progression of technology. What I didn't see was COVID. And I have told Spirit, I don't want to see dark things that I have no influence over or that are fear-mongering, that will deflate people. So while I look at this, I feel like it is a time of authority, a time to really assert yourself in the way that is authentic to your heart, in your romantic sector, in your romantic body, because this is an opportunity for you to truly step into a vibration that is authentic to what you may not have believed was possible. Children believe in magic. Children believe in miracles. Children believe in fairies and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen and, Santa Claus. So a childlike innocence in your own path, and then thanking God and the angels for your reception of it. All right, let's move on to angel reading number 2. For those of you that picked angel reading number 2, and let me tell you, I have not looked at these cards ahead of time, so I'm pulling them and throwing them spontaneously. We have the animal guardian. This is a very, very powerful energy because it's asking you to trust your instincts. And the owl is above this princess. I want to call her a maiden in some ways. The owl in my Avalon, the Legend of Avalon deck, represents wisdom and deception, two sides of one coin. And the heart, this is a barn owl with the heart face. And I want to say that I feel like this is really a time, sorry, the screen keeps getting dark and I'm trying to fix that. I think this is really a time for you to look above your earthly experience, to ask yourself if your instincts are based on fear, on a projection, or on what you want to experience, because the deer represents gentility. It represents diplomacy. And in this particular case, we're seeing a fawn. So there is a naivete, there is a still believing that there is a purpose to everything, even if it appears challenging. We can also see the panther, and we can see the crow and or the raven. So while we see this guardian with her wings, it's very much about flying above a situation, trusting your power and strength, trusting the renewal, that one thing leads to another. That's what I think the raven represents. To maintain a childlike and innocence, that you are supported by God and the angels, and then to see the wisdom of any sort of disruption that's been coming. So let's see. For those of you that picked angel reading number 2, in the foundational position, we have Ray and we have the High Priestess. Ray, for me, talks about yoga and exercise being essential to your well-being, but she's sitting in a meditative position. She has her power chakra connected to her third eye, and then that's flanked by the heart chakra, represented by the green color, and the throat chakra represented by the blue color. So to me, this is very much connecting with God and the angels so that I can get a deeper vision of what is going on. I have personally felt like I am having dreams where I'm talking to my team and I'm having conversations with them. I'm not remembering them in details when I wake up. So those of you that picked angel reading number 2 may very well be getting downloads or having conversations with your team that are there to support you and give you information, but not in a conscious way, in a way that you can go in an intuitive way, in an unconscious way. So, because her eyes are closed. So to me, this is also the reason they're not giving it to you like in pencil and paper is because you're also honing your skills to trust your instincts. That's where I'm going with this. In the opportunity of the obstacle, we have the burden card and we have crystal saying, have faith and hope there's more on the horizon that you can't see. So again, we're seeing a common theme here of trusting something that is not necessarily in the physical, that is in the inner knowing. And this is again, well, I shouldn't say again, but I'm capitalizing on previous videos. We have astrological dynamics that have supported us to move into a higher version of ourselves. And in order for that to happen, a certain amount of disruption, a certain amount of breaking away of the old must take place. So in the angel's advice, we have the Queen and we have Celeste. Celeste represents a move to a new home or a new place of employment. And the Queen is receptive energy. It is an energy that is very intuitive. I would say it is the earth energy that in some ways is complementary to the High Priestess, because the High Priestess is very much a mystical character, a character that would be a master of trusting and inner knowing, whereas the Queen would be more about adapting. The Queen in general is a receptive energy. She is pampered, she is taken care of by others, so she's used to receiving. So this to me is in an earthbound way, and this is you shifting the way you're thinking. Celeste, while my dog is scraping at the carpet, the Celeste represents the move to a new home or a new place of employment. But wherever I am, I think the way I think. So you can move my physical body, but it will not necessarily change my experience. It may temporarily, but in the long run, I will default to my beliefs and my thoughts. So in the angel's advice is the receptive, intuitive energy represented by the female in a highest form of the Queen. This shift that Celeste offers will help ease the burden of the unknowing as you step more into your intuitive body and you put directives into the universe, rockets of desire, intentions. Because in the final position is Yvonne, the angel for me of vulnerability, and there's the truth. And the truth is not about how, because the truth in truth is subjective in some ways. It is not necessarily objective. There is not one truth. There are many truths. So as you that picked angel reading number 2 are vulnerable to your own truths, to the connection that you have to the angelic realm, you are starting this week to implement a deeper part of your physical being, your sixth sense, but with an intention to create an experience for yourself. And I believe that that experience is probably maybe a new home, a new place of employment, a sense of new environment. So I will say that Celeste feels like she's doing double duty, because as you connect and allow your mind to shift to a place where there are things working on your behalf, that the universe is actually moving things around that you could not do physically for yourself. So holding the line, holding the intention, holding the focus that you are willing to receive the baton that's being passed to you when the time comes to take inspired action. And your job is to be vulnerable to this period of time where you are sitting in an unknown place. All right, let's go on to angel reading number 3. Hopefully Lucky won't start digging up again. All right, for those of you that picked angel reading number 3, our overcard is the Lady. Oh, this is a beautiful energy. She is it's a card of reward. What does it say? Enjoy growth and reap the rewards. You see her, the tree is full of apples. She is wearing this beautiful green color, which represents the heart chakra. It represents abundance, money, vitality. It feels very rich and lush. And I want to say that the Lady is not necessarily about a feminine energy, but about, I feel like part of it is, I've been getting this very strong pull that disruption is the doorway to our dreams. So when she's talking about enjoying growth, it could be a period where you are the growth is uncomfortable in some way. It may not be super uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be arduous or torture. We'll see what the spread reveals. But in knowing that there are rewards coming, there is fruit to be picked. Your garden is growing, is how I want to say it. All right, so in the first position is the Wealth card and Layla. Layla represents spending time in nature, talking to God and the angels about your desires and what you want. And this is a very, very lush card representing nature. So I would say during this time and during this week, anything you can do, even if it's like watching nature shows or listening to nature sounds, and then allowing yourself to almost maybe go into a meditation. And I used to have this meditation where I would end up in some sort of outdoor amphitheater. It was dirt. It felt very tribal. It felt like ceremony was there or took place there. This is metaphorically in my mind. So for those of you that picked angel reading number 3, I think you will feel vital and feel connected. That's what this Wealth card is about, harmony, about feeling a sense of fulfillment. And this is as you speak to God and the angels about what it is you'd like to intend, what it is you'd like to experience. And in our opportunity and our obstacle, we have the movement card, and we have a stara saying to reach for the stars with your dreams and your desires. So I would say that this is rather an opportunity to start to focus in on the movement of moving forward. And this moving forward is, again, not about taking unplanned action. It is about taking planned action to me. It's about, and the plan is an intention. Because as I put out this intention to the universe, let's say you want to experience a new dimension of yourself. Let's say, just randomly, that you're been studying astrology and you want to experience yourself in a more professional capacity that way. The movement comes as you speak to spirit and say, thank you for giving me experiences that anchor the idea that I can succeed and be wealthy when I'm pursuing the things that I love, even though that's never happened. Because in the angel's advice is the Earth Fairy offering a new grounding, a new foundation, but you don't have any information right now. You don't know how that's going to play out. So rather than trying to figure out the how of it, the structure of how will I move forward, you spend time saying, this is how it feels when I'm in that experience. Let's say you want to move into a new home. Then it might be something where you say to spirit, I love my view. It gives me peace of mind as I look out my window. So you're not telling spirit whether you're looking at trees or the ocean. You're telling them how you feel when you're doing that. That is a very powerful energy, because that gives spirit permission to bring in experiences that you didn't even think you could achieve. In the final position, we have the partnership card and we have Isaiah. Isaiah says it's time to give birth to new ideas and new situations, and it is a fertile time. She is pregnant. And there's the partnership card. Now, I don't think that is about outside partnership. I think that goes back to Layla, about Layla sitting out in nature and really saying what my intentions are. What do I want to experience? So if in a professional capacity you want to change, rather than saying, I want a job that makes me feel safe because I have, medical insurance. You say, I have a job, you say to spirit, thank you for bringing me a job that I'm so excited and I thrive and I feel so vital that even my health is better as a result of working there. I'm excited every day when I wake up to go into work and see what the day will hold. That's where I think this comes in. So being in partnership during these changes, because 2021 is in some ways a continuation of 2020, but without, I think, such jarring dynamics. We're slightly used to pivoting these days. We're slightly used to restrictions we hadn't experienced before. And those restrictions are offering reflection. And the reflection will then offer us connection with our team, which then will offer us a new experience. So that's where I'm going. For those of you that picked angel reading number 3, the lady is saying to enjoy growth. Growth is not always easy, but if I intend to see the wisdom behind the challenge, then the growth is worth it. And then I can reap the rewards. All right, let's go on to angel reading number 5. I'm sorry, number 4. Angel reading number 4. Here we go. Our Kyle Gray card is and I have trouble saying this, Shaolin Master. And this is movement through grace and, be graceful in movement and action. And I want to say it this way, because this is a very powerful energy. The grasshopper is there, and the grasshopper is a powerful totem. And just the minute I said it, it skipped right out of my head what it is. So I'll have to encourage you to look that up. But there's something about being able to take big leaps as I am graceful in my movement and I know my power. In many of the martial arts, you learn that what you are doing is not really overpowering your opponent, but rather using their own power to defeat them. So as your opponent comes to you, rather than moving forward to address it, you move to the side and let their momentum take them out of your way. This is what I think is meant by this card and by this dynamic. And it's also interesting to me, the yin and the yang ball that is above the fist. I feel like this is a way of really balancing the need for force. Is it necessary or isn't it necessary? Because force is the force of compassion and grace has not been experienced by man in any way that I think is palatable for them to know that my graceful movements can usher a vibration of change that I otherwise thought I needed to take action or warring action. I need to defeat you in order to win. I think that's what this is offering for those of you that picked angel reading number 4. As you are graceful, not only in your movement and action, but how you balance that need for when to push and when to pull back, when to be a little bit myopic, razor focus, and when to open up a bit and allow for other experiences, input, and let spirit come in. So let's see what this is about. Where should you be graceful in your movements and actions? Ooh, straight up about arguing with somebody this week. This wasp energy is about anger, frustration, and unforgiveness. And Archangel Michael is asking you to have the courage to look beyond your anger, your resentment, and your unforgiveness, because it may be just harming you rather than harming the other person. Your focus may be actually more destructive to you, which is, again, now we go back to this card here where I'm going to the yin and the yang. Is there some balance to be had that I can't see? In my opportunity or my obstacle is Bridget saying to look deeper into the situation. And the fire fairy is about, it talks about creative action and optimism, but it's like the Queen of Wands and the wand suit in general. It's the spark of creativity. It's the initial impetus of action. And I feel like part of this, for those of you that put angel reading number 4, is to look deeper into, are you participating in your lack of feeling creative action, in your being thwarted? Because you may be really, really focused on being upset, and it may be completely justified. But is it actually serving you? Because it could be one of those situations where you've had a disagreement with somebody and they walk away and they're not worried about it at all, and you're still thinking about it, and it's eroding your sense of well-being, and there's nothing going on with them. In the angel's advice is Merlin and Caressa. Caressa represents being at the end of a life cycle, that there's a new chapter beginning. And Merlin represents alchemy, balance, and justice. So I think that there is the potential that there is something ending. It's not specific as to whether it would be professional, personal, or it could be something within yourself that you believe about yourself. It could be a part of yourself that you've been carrying around. Maybe you've been walking around and there's been this low level of anger and discontent, and you've been carrying it around since you were a child because your childhood was unjust. And now is an opportunity to really shift that, because you're shifting to the point, is this serving me, or am I just eroding my own life because I could be having fun? These people aren't even involved. Final position is a birth and the rebirth card, and Ariel saying that new psychic and spiritual experiences are changing the way you view yourself and others. I really think this is about, and I don't want to use the words letting go. Many mentors, spiritual teachers, life coaches say we're going to release things that happen to us. You've got to release that anger. I don't believe I can really release it. I need to make sense of it. I need to turn it into something like a tool. And the tool is something maybe as simple as paying attention to my focus. That person's no longer in my life, and yet I'm still angry about it. I'm still chewing on it, because you're being offered a new beginning as a result of a connection with spirit that gives you the courage to let go of that anger, because it may be a situation where you will never be able to, in this lifetime, feel justified or validated. And now it's just ruining your life. It's just ruining your life. So I think that this is about internal epiphanies. The middle of the month, I'll talk about this next week. We have the planet of beliefs, personal beliefs, Jupiter squaring Uranus, and that is liberation and freedom. So there may be an opportunity for you very much to be liberated from an old belief that has no longer, it was valid at one point, but it's not anymore. And instead of serving you to be angry and justified, you're now able to move into a space that says, you know what, I don't need to carry that anymore. It served me. And when I smell something similar to that, I'm going to take a pause and wait and see if it is actually true or not. So let's say, let me just give you a quick example. Let's say that you have been lied to. Let's say that you believed somebody and they seemed very authentic and genuine, and then you found out they were manipulating you. And you could be very angry and justified about that and think, you know what, that person's just a straight up jerk. But you know what, chewing on that and knowing that they were not a nice person, that's all great. But they're off doing their thing and you're still thinking about it. So now somebody else comes in and you smell a similar energy. You're like, you know, this person feels good on some level, but you know what, there's something behind this. I don't know. That's the tool, the I don't know. So you sit back and you allow spirit to illuminate the validity of that person's intentions. their authenticity. That's how Spirit will bring you new psychic and spiritual experiences that will allow you to have a rebirth in your life. And this will then allow your graceful action and movements will be intentional. You will become a master of, and I want to say this in a way that is not rigid. It's not like you're going to become a master and you're going to know it all. It's more like a master of the unknown and of being able to go with the ebb and the flow. Do I move forward or do I sit back and wait for Spirit to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down? All right, that's where I'm going with that. Let's go on to angel reading number 5, our final reading for this week. And in our Kyle Gray card, I'm sorry, my words. Oh, interesting. We have the Star Ancestor. It says, follow the voice of your soul. And I think this is so beautiful because the voice of your soul will align you to experiences and to wants and desires that you may not believe you can attain. When I look at the Star Ancestor, you know, I very much, you wish upon a star, you dream, you look up at the stars. And for me, I see these constellations and I see this calm smirk on his face. And then I see these pyramids right here. And I feel like as I look at the pyramids, I almost feel like, look at the very edge of them. There's some sort of light at the top of them. It indicates it to me a certain amount of having to climb, but I've got to continue to make that climb, not based on what I think I can do physically, but what my heart is telling me, what seems impossible. So let's see. Where is the voice of your soul taking you? Angel reading number 5. And we have the Joy card and Serena, the Angel of Abundance. And I want to say it this way because Serena will talk about straight up money, but I think it's more about her position. Look at her. Her eyes are closed. Her arms are open. Her body is very relaxed. And she is in reception of what God will bring her, what source energy, what the law of attraction will bring her through her joy. In our opportunity and or our obstacle, we have the Focus card and Fiona saying, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving. You deserve heaven's help. Look at how joyful Fiona is. I think of Fiona and Serena as a pair because both of them talk about God taking care of things and both of them have open arms. But the subtle difference is Serena is learning surrender and Fiona is celebrating it, because she knows where her focus should be. Her focus is in on that abundance, not the how of it, but how it feels once it's arrived. And here in the Angel's Advice, we have Rochelle talking about following the guidance of your heart. And there's the restriction card. This is in the Angel's Advice. This is where Fiona is telling you, where is your focus? Because your focus may be on worry, it may be on lack, it may be on, I can't follow the voice of my heart. I can't follow my soul. It's not practical. Who will pay the bills? Who will approve of me if I'm outside the box? The only person has to approve of you is you. In the final position, we have Archangel Gabriel and we have the Death card. To me, this is a transformation. And this transformation is really about sitting in joy, in sitting in serenity as I walk through the process of my own authenticity. And the Archangel Gabriel actually is the angel that ushers souls to the other side. She governs that journey from the physical to back into spirit. She also, to me, talks about insecurity and says, turn over your insecurities to me because I will transform you. And just for the sake of it, I'm going to pull one quick card as a clarification on this transformation. And that is the transformation of fear. So for those of you that picked angel reading number 5, this is where I'm going with this. False evidence appearing real. And now what I'm doing is celebrating my abundance in any way, my abundance of money, my abundance of love, my abundance of resources, my abundance of intellect. And in doing so, much of that is a precursor to what spirit is bringing into the physical experience. So those of you that picked angel reading number 5, your intentions for this year, as you set them to follow the voice of your soul rather than the voice of your fear, abundance will come to you, and it will come to you in ways that are much more valuable than just money. It will come to you in the sense of security. The sense of security that as you follow your heart, spirit draws in everything you need to capitalize on that and move the journey forward. Because as you do that, you set an example for others and light a path for them to contemplate being as brave as you have been, to listen to the inner voice. All right, so that's it for me for this week. My intention is to be back next Tuesday with another pick your angel readings. These are for your advice to help you feel guided and supported as you walk through your weeks. And your own intuition is how you will know what the theme is, what the topic is for the week. So I want to thank you all for being here. Please like, please subscribe and comment, share these videos. It's very exciting. It's very exciting to be here. And thank you for being part of my tribe. I'll see you next week. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. And if you'd like to get a personal reading with me, the information is below. Have a great week, everybody. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.